Welcome to Creepypasta. Please like, share and subscribe. This will help us make more content for you. Thank you.
I saw the end of the world. This was a few years ago. I was sitting in the back seat of a full car, looking out of the window. It was nighttime and everything was normal. I hadn't been drinking or smoking, I wasn't tired, and I don't take medication. There weren't many stars to look at because we were just outside the city in the suburbs, so I was just staring at passing buildings. Then, everything became brighter, and I had this horrible feeling of helplessness and dread that pierced me so deep it made my bones ache. So I looked up at the sky and saw this massive comet, meteor thing screaming across the sky. It was flaming yellow, orange, but mostly green, and it looked really close. Like inside the atmosphere close, T-30 seconds to impact close. I only saw it for 2 seconds before it disappeared behind a building, and didn't come back out the other side, or crash into the earth. Then everything went back to normal, even the feeling of dread was gone. But I was still freaking out because I saw it. I felt the horror at its inevitable collision with the earth, but when I asked everyone else in the car, no one else did. Not even the person in the passenger seat in front of me who was also looking out of the window. They all thought I was playing a prank. All of it was weird, but the part that really gets me, is that's the most frightened I've ever felt in my entire life, but the feeling was only there for 2 seconds and then it was gone completely, just like the green flaming thing. I don't have any explanation for this and it haunts me all the time. It was such a horrible feeling, and no one believes me. I don't even know what it could be. A vision of the future, past even? Maybe just a glitch? Maybe space and time folded and I saw something floating in space light years away from Earth. Whatever it was, to hell with that.
Comments. That sounds horrifying. What is crazy to me is how in detail you had witnessed this. Very interesting about the green. Quote from Forbes.com, as a meteor enters Earth's atmosphere, it is heated to the point where its outer layer is vaporized. The metals in the meteor glow with particular colors. Green comes from nickel. The most common metallic meteors are iron-nickel, so green is a common color.
I was sitting in my car 3 years ago and saw something very similar. I was in the front seat smoking, and looking up the hill from my house. It was nighttime, maybe around 9 or 10. Suddenly, a green burst of flame appeared and was dropping from the sky. It was huge, in the way that things that are really far away look huge, like the sun or the moon. I was shocked, glued to my seat, holding my breath and watched it all of the way down waiting for impact. It fell behind the tree line and then nothing. I waited a couple of beats before taking a real breath, and then a couple more before I got out of my car and went into my house. It was one of the most sobering experiences I'd ever gone through, and I still can't understand what I saw that night.
I've experienced something similar. I was driving with my dad and his partner through Surfers Paradise, Australia. I look out the window aimlessly, then suddenly everything was on fire. It was so vivid, and took me completely by surprise. I wasn't thinking of anything to prompt the thought of an apocalypse. I then asked if anyone else could see it. But everything was normal. Could it be maladaptive daydreaming? It wasn't pleasant, that's for sure. All the buildings were on fire too. It was a while ago, I'd say around 2015. I've had quite a few premonition dreams, as well as paranormal encounters, but this was during a drive. Hallucination? I don't know. It's interesting to see that this is a common phenomena.
My girlfriend had a memory from the future. I'll preface this, as many here have, by clarifying that I am by no means a spiritual person. And having said that, I have no way to describe what happened to us. Back in 2019, my girlfriend experienced a memory of a situation that had not happened yet. We were both in my bedroom, in my house, and she was on the sofa trying to recall about a funny remark I had made to her. She says that she was reading something funny to me a few days prior, to which I replied with a funny remark, and she was telling me this because she couldn't quite make out what I had said. I was confused because I had no recollection of that convo. We dwelled on it for quite some time, while she tried to remind me that I was by the bathroom door, while she was laying down on the bed, but I had nothing. She eventually shrugged it off and forgot about it. Fast forward to a couple of days after. I had just showered, and I was drying myself off by the bathroom door frame, which is inside my bedroom. She is laying on my bed, reading something funny on her cell phone, right in front of me. She starts reading it back to me with an excited look. As she is reading it, her excitement seems to slowly fade away. I take my cue, and I start to make a funny remark about that story, but I stop halfway. I ask her, "What's wrong?" She is pale, wide-eyed looking at the phone screen, when it suddenly clicked. She looks back to me, jumps out of the bed, and finishes the sentence I had just started. She knew exactly what I was going to say. It was exactly the memory she had 2 days prior. We spent a few good hours after the incident freaking out, trying to wrap our heads around what had just happened. No possible explanation, no déjà vu. She literally described that event, days before it happened. I remember her mentioning specific sections of that story the day before. It wasn't a coincidence, a text that she read again by mistake, nor could it be me unconsciously playing a prank on her, it was really a memory of the future. Update, she came over last night, and I had her tell me the story again. She confirmed some things. The text she read was from a tattoo on a photo, on Instagram or Facebook most likely. She distinctly remembered bits of the text on the moment of the memory, as well as a certain movement I did, followed by something I said. However, at the moment she actually read the text back to me, she definitely had never seen the tattoo before. And then, as soon as she read it, she felt a weird sensation as if the memory was rebuilding itself. When she looked at me, she said it felt like her memory and her sight sort of converged onto a single moment. That's when I asked her if she was okay, then she got out of bed. She repeated what I had just said before asking, and completed with a punchline, but the remark had no impact at all. She said she had never felt so afraid before, because the feeling was too strange to describe. I'm obviously very skeptic myself, so I confronted her about it, asking if it was possible that she just saw the same image twice, if it could have been a coincidence, or if she actually just had a very strong déjà vu at the moment and the memory wasn't actually related. She denied all of it, said she was sure of the text when it first came to her mind, and she knew exactly what I was going to do and say. Her family has a history of dealing with supernatural stuff, and she has quite some memories about talking to angels with her aunts when she was young. She has also got told once, totally out of the blue, by a friend's mother, that she had mediumnic powers. The friend's mother was a medium as well, not sure if that's the proper wording. We might after all, just be in a Jeremy Bearimy.
Comments. They are discovering macro entanglement. We have a lot to learn about how consciousness can merge and receive impulses as expressed synchronized vibration between two people. I suggest this as I really can't support the idea of a predetermined future. I've experienced telepathy in the form of an emotional expression from a friend over 20 miles away. I think entanglement is one of those magical phenomena, at the same time it seems as natural as everything else in the universe.
Exactly. I don't support as much the idea of quantum entanglement between different beings, considering how systematically and complexly far apart both are in nature, let alone you have the chance to actually interact with your quantum counterpart by chance. Sounds like luck to me, which isn't inherently bad. However, I do believe that since entanglement might happen in unexpected ways in the brain, and quantum decoherence seems to happen at velocities FTL, then it sounds plausible that some information in our brains reach us before it becomes a tangible reality to us, whatever before means in this case. That's at least the most rational interpretation of what happened that I have so far.
This has happened to me my whole life. More when I was younger, and the premonitions would happen in dreams, sometimes years prior, before I had ever been to the places where they happened in the waking life later. Same exact thing with me. I would dream of a something, completely normal and unremarkable, and then weeks or months later it will happen. I always pay attention to dreams where everything is like the real world, as they're likely to become real. Normally everything is different in dreams. Recognizable, but places having different layouts and proportions, sometimes entirely different buildings.
Do you have a creepy story? Please share it with us in the comments, and we will post it on the channel. Please subscribe. Thank you.